Bad Life Podcast! You're listening to the Bad Life Podcast, your number one guide on how to run a profitable band. Here are your hosts, Pete Stannard and Adam West, the Wizard of Rock! Hello, 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 hello. I was doing my Donald Trump dance. It's kind of looks a bit weird. But anyway, welcome to the Band Life Podcast. I'm Pete Stannard and I am here with the Wizard of Rock himself, Mr. Adam West. Yay! We'll stop that there. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm all right. I'm feeling rather sexy and ready to go.
Sexy? Because it's your anniversary today, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Our lovely listener, you can comment, please, and let him know how much you love the fact that he's been married for so... How long have you been married for? Is it a wedding anniversary or a general...
Yeah. 20...
I've been with the missus this long. Type anniversary.
26 years.
26 years. Mine is 25 this year.
Wow. That's so freaky.
Yeah, 2001 we met. But we've only been married 7 or 8 years. We didn't get married. Okay. We didn't get married for 17 years, something like that.
Oh, Pete, it's shocking.
Anyway, congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
Give our love and congratulations to your long-suffering wife. She obviously would have got less for murdering you.
Yes, that's right.
Episode 24, we're almost at the quarter century, mate, almost.
Quarter century.
Today, we're going to discuss how to plan out your year, which I know is sexy clickbait stuff. It's not. But it's essential, I think, for running a band, is to have a plan.
Absolutely, I agree.
Those that don't have a plan generally don't
fail.
really get anywhere, to be honest. And there are ways of doing this, ways and means, shall we say.
And Pete is going to tell us how.
I'm going to tell you a few bits and bobs that you can do to make the planning process not so mundane and make you feel like you want to kill yourself at the end of it. Because if you're going to have a good plan, a decent plan, you need to put a lot of effort into it at the end of the day. Why is it essential? Well, either way, if you had a bad 2025, for instance, then it's probably because you didn't have a very good plan. If you had a good year, then you need to look at what was good, and you need to think about how you can replicate what was good. You almost have to look into how 2026 is going to be different from 2025, because the music industry changes pretty much month to month.
Yeah,
week
it's pretty
to week.
Scary.
So something that works, especially within marketing in particular, a marketing campaign that worked in 2025 doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work in 2026. So trends change. What I do and what I suggest people do is to have kind of two kind of buckets of goals. You have objectives, which is kind of a very broad perspective. And then you have what's called SMART goals.
Right. And
those are like the steps you take to achieve those objectives. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, I'm all about this stuff, Pete. I say how I operate. If I got stuff to do, I'm like, right. Look at this. I've got sticky pads and notes everywhere. If my brain wanders off, I'm like, I get focused. What's my plan? Bullet points. Yeah. Oh, done.
Yeah, and
same sort of thing. And you got bullet points on there.
I do have bullet points. Bullet points are my life source. To be honest. Otherwise, I'm like, where am I going? What am I doing? How am I going to do this? But They're called SMART goals for a reason. It's obviously the SMART. It's an acronym. It's an acronym. That's a great word. S is for specific. M is for measurable. A is achievable. R is realistic. And T is time bound. So this is where it gets a little bit kind of complicated. But I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that your objective is to play gigs this year. Yeah, that's your objective. It's not a SMART goal. If you were going to get into the SMART goals, let's say you're going to play a fill in the blank venue. I don't know, like the Roundhouse in Camden or something like that, for example. Now you're specific because you've got that venue specifically in mind. The capacity of that venue is measurable, 60, 100, 200, 500 cap, something like that. The next part of that is achieve. So do you have the contacts to achieve that slot? So do you know the promoters, the venue owners? What do you have to do to make it achievable? The realistic part of that would be, given your fan base size, can you realistically fill that venue? Whether you're an opener or a headliner or whatever else. Obviously, if you're a headliner, you should be looking to fill up probably to capacity because you can't massively rely on openers. If you're an opener, at best, you should be looking at filling, if there's 3 bands on, you should aim to try and fill a third of that venue, I would say, just to be fair. At the end of the day, everyone involved in that gig should be trying to promote as much as possible. If they're not,
I agree.
Maybe you need to start thinking about who's opening for you as a headliner. I think we've talked about this in past episodes, but so we're not going to go over that old ground again. And obviously, your fan base size, I consider fan base size to be your email list and your SMS list, your text messaging list, and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Anything outside your followers, outside of that, your followers are not your fan base, as far as I'm concerned. You could have 1 million followers. If no one shows up to your gigs, they're not your fans, are they? At the end of the day. Anyway,
pay attention, boys and girls. Pay attention.
And this does happen. I've seen bands that have thousands of followers on Instagram, and I've got to the gig and there's me and the sound guy there, and I'm like, what's happened here? The last part of that, if you get through the realistic element of the SMART goals, is obviously time bound, which is when do you want to play and are you prepared as an artist and all your bandmates, are you prepared enough to play at that point in time? Obviously, it's a scheduling thing, it's a rehearsal thing, and all that other stuff. So that's kind of the format. Obviously, you can then bring that to any element of your ecosystem, whether it's recording, whether it's getting your artwork done, your photographs done, or whatever else. Got your objective, and then you break that objective down using these SMART goals. What I would suggest doing is get a Google Doc or an Evernote or something that you can write on and just list out your objectives for the year, playing shows, producing, releasing music, selling more merch, sorting out marketing in your website. Literally just list every aspect that you want to do throughout the year and then break that down into your SMART goals. It's going to be very, very labor intensive and boring, I will admit. Because it is. I am one to sit down and note stuff out, but I don't enjoy sitting down and noting stuff out. I just want to crack on and get on with it. But I need to know what I'm getting on with, and I need to make sure that I'm putting the right energy in the right area. So the realistic part of those SMART goals are really important, because if you can't realistically do it, don't spend your time and energy doing it. Spend your time and energy thinking, well, how do I make that realistic then? What do I have to pull back on to make this a realistic objective? That's kind of how I do look at things from a planning point of view. So yeah, just making sure that you can pull the trigger on certain things as well. Once you've worked out all your SMART goals, then you need to fill into your calendar, whether that's a Google Calendar or wherever your calendar is, block out when you're going to be doing stuff, which again is a very boring, mundane thing to do, I know, and it's not sexy. It's a part of running a band. It's a part of running a business as well. That's all this is. All this stuff is how organized you can be. And then once you've got all of those stuff in, with reminders and notifications to say, look, get your ass in gear, get these bits done, because if you don't get this bit done, this other bit probably won't work out, or everything else gets knocked off to one side and that sort of thing. If you've been realistic and you've worked to these SMART goals properly, you should just be able to just do everything off the back end, and it's literally just click an email to send out. You know, you could have everything pre-written. You can even automate stuff that certain venues, you know, certain promoters will just get this email at this time, and you could do everything off the back end. So you don't even have to think about it once you've got everything in place. That sort of thing, that works really well. So you can kind of sit down and go, right, I'm going to spend today, the whole day, just doing this backroom stuff and just setting everything up so that I don't have to think about it for the next 6 months or whatever, or for this month. It's much better to try and batch everything together than trying to kind of, all right, I'm going to spend an hour here and then an hour there and then half an hour here and all the rest of it. It never works like that, because what happens is you say, oh, I'll spend an hour here, and then something will happen in that morning and you won't get a time to actually do it.
Agreed, yeah.
So if you can block out a day, or, you know, I think any more than a day at a time, maybe per week.
Well, I think it's fairly reasonable.
Yeah, for this sort of thing. Because you're going to spend that time doing it. You'll probably spend more time trying to backtrack than kind of just going, right, this is a block time. I'm just going to shut my phone off, shut all the notifications off my phone. My phone's going away. YouTube has been banned.
Temporarily, of course.
Temporarily. But I'm going to just fill out and do all this backroom stuff. And in my calendar, I've got 2 days where I've just got blocked out for backroom. Part of it's the first day is for Greenwave production stuff, is for the studio. The next day is backroom stuff for the band, for my God Machina stuff. It's about being productive with your time.
And smart. It's about being smart.
Yeah, don't work hard, work smart.
Smarter, not faster.
Smarter, yeah. Oh, the other thing is work hard at being smart.
It's
a good one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of people. I mean, there's sound good advice, and I think a lot of us have problems with we procrastinate an awful lot.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest problem people have, same with any bands as well, they think they know what they want and what they want to achieve, and they may well do and work it from up here, but it's much better to get it written down on some kind of digital spreadsheet or even a physical spreadsheet. Good planning, smart planning is really, it's good for you, your mind, and just getting stuff done a lot better. You know, I mean, I bullet point everything. I mean, I just do it on you now because I can.
Yeah.
When I'm sat, if I got an idea, I'm like, right, okay, bullet point it, and then when I get distracted, I can go right. I know I got to get stuff done, and I look at it, I go, oh yeah, I did that 2 hours ago, due. I'm like, and it's much more rewarding for you as an individual then if you can plan everything. So with the music and the band, this is something they don't talk about. I've tried asking this question with some of the bands too, and I'm like, look, you know, I'm intrigued. I mean, there's my method of madness. What's yours? But they don't want to answer it, you know. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. But I don't know. I mean, you know, for me,
I think because for a lot of bands, it's like, well, even if they do it at all, sort of thing, they're a little bit like, well, it's not rock and roll, is it, to be sitting there with you in your Google Doc going, oh, I really want to sort out my merchandise sort of thing. It's not, and this is the thing, it's not a sexy part of the industry.
But it has to be done, don't it?
It has to be done. And if you're going to move your career forward, then you need to do this stuff.
That's how the world works. And like you said earlier on, the music industry changes almost daily. And by the end of the month, it's like, that no longer works. You're like,
it's such a rapid thing. Yeah. And it's kind of going to your point of most, a lot of musicians just keep it in their heads and stuff. Yeah. Your objective parts, I think you can just say, oh, I want to gig more this year, or we want to record an album or whatever. That kind of big picture stuff. Yeah. But you there's no way you're going to retain the steps to make it into something that's going to be great for you as an artist, and great for your fans, potentially growing your fan base and all this other stuff. It's just not going to happen unless you actually sit down and work this stuff out. And
agreed.
The realistic part of it, I think, is massively important. Being 100% realistic about your fan base is, I think, one of the hardest obstacles, because no artist really wants to admit that they don't have a fan base. Everyone's like, oh, I've got all these different, everything's a big positive thing all the time. It's like, well, actually, the reality of it is, if you don't have a list, an email list, then the reality of it is that you don't really have a fan base at all. That's not to say that you don't have potential fans, so that your music's shit and people hate you. It just means that you haven't given people a chance to give you that type of feedback, and you've not given them an avenue to do that. The amount of bands that I speak to, and I'm like, oh, what's the website? And they're like, oh, we don't have one. It's like, well, how are you growing this stuff then? What are you doing?
Because they go on the basis of like, well, I've got about 6,000 followers, and it's like, followers and no fans, which is important because there's I hear the same thing with these bands, and I'm just like, well, that's not the same. And it's like, how much are you putting into it to get enough out of it? I don't.
It's nuts. It's nuts when you kind of think of it from that point of view. But and I will say, from a marketing point, is that email open rates can tend to be around between mid 20 to 30%, whereas SMS text messaging, the open rate is 98%. If you can get phone numbers, because who doesn't answer? Who doesn't look at texts?
That's an interesting point. Quickly, right? So I'm on, as you were talking, I was on my Reverb Nation page. So if people don't know what Reverb Nation is, go check it out, because it is a marvelous tool.
I'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, it's a underused tool for artists. It's been around longer than MySpace, Instagram, and TikTok. Yes, that's right. And a lot of people don't know about it. It's very good. Pete should know about Reverb Nation. And so
I too. I've been on there a few times. When I was in the early part of my career as a musician, when I was in bands, we used Reverb Nation and MySpace. MySpace was the big thing, and Reverb Nation was kind of like the secondary part, I suppose you could say. But being on both was kind of like an essential thing in the early 2000s. Yeah,
absolutely. And the reason why people don't gravitate, they say the modern bands today don't gravitate towards Reverb anymore, is because it doesn't offer you the clickbait stuff that the social medias do. Because what it does is focus in on your craft, your music, and you, or everything that Pete's talking about. It highlights and uses those things as a means to get your fans, to increase your reach, etc., etc. And that's why people are like, but no one's commenting on my stuff or liking it, and I'm like, well, then that's a separate thing altogether. So this thing on here, what it does, we're talking about emails, right? If you go into what's called fan reach, it gives you a total because you sync up your socials, email subscribers, Facebook fans, and Twitter followers. Unfortunately, they can't get Instagram to work with it very well or talk to each other.
Right.
And so there's a problem with certain things. But anyway, so my total email subscribers for Reverb is 50, and fans on Facebook are 311.
Yeah.
Twitter followers are 55. People do follow you and become a fan, and then want to receive notifications. It brings up that and then says, do you want to email? So when you're talking about the open rate, it gives you an open rate on your subscribers down here, so you can see how often they open the email going down. And it's very interesting.
Anyway,
yeah,
I feel like we've gone off topic a wee bit.
It's good to go off on the tangent sometimes because it opens up.
If you're enjoying this podcast and you're a generous soul, which I'm sure you are, why not buy Adam and myself a cup of coffee? You could do that at buymeacoffee.com/The Band Life Podcast.
What is your plan? What's the plan for the Shallow Souls for this year? Even if you've not done this, kind of the smart stuff, because I've literally just told you about it. Expect you to do that. So even from an objectives perspective, I think our listener would love to know what is going on with the Shallow Souls for this year.
Okay, so what is going on with the Shallow Souls this year? We are going in to record a second album with yours truly, Pete Stannard from Green Wave Productions. And we've chose to do this because we think Pete's strategy ideas and just a disclosure, I'm not getting paid for saying this, all right?
This is not a sponsored message.
This is not a sponsor. Beep! As a cutscene, the sponsor comes up.
Yeah.
Hi, have you tried coconut water these days? Very good. We chose to do this because for me personally, I was looking for somebody that wanted to, that was going to do a little bit more and get a bit more involved with a project moving forward. I made the decision to do a recording, and it was going to be with somebody else. Obviously, it's with yourself. And so we're up to the point now, fast forward, where the three of us have got together and we thought, right, okay, so let's do a meet and greet and see what Pete's strategies are and how we can help and get us where we need to be. And they were good. They were that good that we were just like, yeah, okay, well, this sounds great, because what we like to do as individuals in the band anyway is work closely on specific things to make sure that the whole thing gets done. I'm not just go in and go, right, what are we working on? Which is a bit of a bone of contention in past recordings, because I like to plan things, and I guess we just hit it off because we're both very similar. And so what we decided to do was go, right, okay. So we recorded this album the end of 2024 and released it. It's called An Age of Darkness.
Excellent.
Okay, and it tells part one of a grand story scaling 3 albums, basically. And so we are on album 2 and its story.
And where can people pick up such a glorious looking album?
It's very sleek. It's very nice and shiny.
It looks awesome, mate. I love it.
It's all gloss. So you can purchase it and listen to it on Bandcamp. The Shallow Souls.
Bandcamp, especially what they announced recently.
Yeah, okay, we'll probably touch on that.
We'll touch on that.
Yeah, and obviously I recently uploaded to Reverb Nation because I felt that it was a platform I didn't use enough, and I'm trying to step away from the Spotify and the other ones because A, of all the issues that's been kicking off, and B, because it's very time consuming trying to manage them all. And you get better results with those two. So that's where you can get it. But yes, from 2025, promoting that up until this year, we were like, okay, where are we? What are we doing? What's the plan? And we decided, short version was to go, right, well, let's record an album. Yeah, so in terms of anything new, this year, we're going to release a live, so this is an official announcement actually, I suppose, really. We're going to be releasing a live 4-track EP of a gig that we did back last year. The album artwork, yeah, it's the artwork this time, unlike the first album, is going to be done, is being done by an organic artist, and it's phenomenal. Some of the work that she's done is just like, what? So yeah, it's
great.
It's just going to be good.
Now, I'm glad you've actually, because I know we've talked about how you've struggled to find artists to actually produce the art for stuff, and it can be really, really hard work.
It was hard work trying to find an artist and all that. And see, people slag off these social medias, like, because they're like, oh, they're evil and all this stuff, and they steal your privacy. And you're like, yeah, we all know about this. Because I was looking for artists and organic painters and stuff, and then all of a sudden, there was just tons of stuff. And like, I was absolutely blown away by how many talented people there are who showcase their work and turn around. I was just like, wow. And you're like, you're spoiled for choice. And this is why people should do their homework on, if they don't know anything about it, just algorithms and how they work for starters points. Because I think most people just go, I'm like, how's that thing going to know what you like if you don't search it? Or, I mean, it's going to give you, like, I don't know, say 10 videos of what. So I don't know what this person might like, so I send them 10 videos and they're varied. And eventually it'll pick up on what you like and go from there. But yeah, bit of advice, don't search for cats dancing. You'll never get away from it.
Exactly. Well, this is why we've changed the segment. We did have it just as a slap, but from going forward, we're going to have it, because I don't want to be consistently negative on this podcast. Of
course we don't. Of course
we want to be positive sprites.
Yeah.
Shall we say? So we've changed the slap section to slap or clap. Adam, he's going to have the first go at slap or clap, and I will decide with either a slap or a clap, depending on what he says. So, Adam,
given the fact that this year is about moving forward with plenty of positivity, let's go for the clap. I would like to clap. Okay. I would like to clap and applaud my good friend Dean, the bass player in the band, for being exceptionally patient, kind, and persevering in working with us and getting us to a good point of where the band should be heading, because really without him and his drive, I think we would have probably given up on a few bits here and there, just because me and JJ are a little older and we're starting to wind down a bit, and we're like, where's my slippers? And I think we needed a bit of young blood, and we needed a bit of a push,
a bit of a kick in the bum.
Yeah. We were very, very, very much like he was in the early days. But I think we're going to give him a clap because he's really helped us to. There's a lot more to it, but I give Dean a clap because he's been very. If there's nothing else, he's been very patient, very kind with. With us, and most people in bands,
you old guys.
Yeah, exactly, man. And he's just a lovely guy. He's great because, you get some people in band members, and their ego is atrocious, and he doesn't really have one. But so I'm going to give him a clap. For,
give him a clap. Okay.
He's putting up with us.
There you go, Dean. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
I
think he deserves it.
A very old man happy.
Yeah, he knows it too. He knows it.
Well, well done, Dean. Yeah. Well done. That's well said. Do you want to hear the plan for My God Machina for 2026?
Yeah, I want to know what's been going on, because
what's going on.
I've been so self-absorbed in my own stuff. I haven't had a chance to check anybody out. And
that's cool.
I know you've been working hard at it, and so regale me and the listeners with what
you. Now, I haven't done the SMART goals yet. I've not got that far into this. I've been very busy here at the studio.
Well, let me take the helm for a little bit, and I'll read off what the notes here, and I'll ask the question. I'm going to put you
put me in the hot seat.
I'll be in hot seat.
Okay, you go for it, mate.
The mastermind hot seat. I've started,
so I'll finish.
Yes, there were young listeners probably going, I have no idea what you old buggers are on about.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Look at
Magnus
Mastermind.
Magnuson.
Magnus. Oh, my back is so sweaty. Can't wait to take all my clothes off.
I don't think Magnus Magnuson ever said that on Mastermind. Could you imagine?
I've started, so I'll take all my clothes off.
Exactly. Naked Mastermind.
Well, they got Naked Chef. Right, here we go then, sir. Okay, God Machina. My God Machina 2026 is about building a band and business infrastructure. What are your objectives, sir?
Objectives. Okay.
Yeah.
First objective, or first one that I've listed on here, not necessarily, these aren't necessarily in order, shall we say.
Heat.
But first thing I've got here is to find other musicians to work with. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because at the moment, it's just little old me. But I have a network of musicians that I can call upon, shall we say.
Session individuals.
Session players that hopefully will want to at least be involved. But the goal with that is to create new music at least sort of once a month, something like that, to produce music with a larger goal of building a fan base. I know a lot of people or a lot of musicians or music artists have this kind of traditional point of view of form a band, play live, grow a fan base playing live, that sort of thing. I think that personally, I know you may disagree with me on this one, Adam, but I think that traditional perspective isn't relevant in the new modern music industry. I think it's flipped. Now that music production is so prevalent and so accessible, I think having a fan base before you go out and play live is a better strategy than attempting to play live in front of what could be a very little to no audience, because venues margins are so tight, they expect you to have a fan base to start with anyway. So you're kind of on a back foot to begin with. The best way, I think, to build a fan base is literally through releasing music, marketing music, doing things like going live on social media, looking at that as a perspective of playing live, possibly doing smaller gigs like open mic nights and things like that, like an acoustic version of your stuff, if that's possible. The next thing I have on here is set up the website. That's pretty much a straightforward one. Test the marketing material, which is what I'm doing at the moment with all the My God Machina stuff. I don't know if you've noticed, I've been putting out lots of different types of videos and things like that.
We have, yes.
I need to be doing more kind of carousel type posts and image-based posts, I suppose you could say. It's coming out from a perspective of looking at the analytics. Don't worry so much about the vanity stuff. I don't give a crap about the number of views and all the rest of it. I look at things like retention time, eyes on the actual posts themselves and things like that, as opposed to, I got, 15,000 views on this. It's great for your ego and stuff like that. But really, when it comes down to it, that's not massively important. What's going to generate followers, what's going to get people onto things like the live streams and stuff like that I'm hoping to do later on at some point.
Cool.
One idea that I've had is to just kind of do live songwriting sessions and things that invite people in to actually sort of sit down. We will just write a song and then I'll go away and produce that song, obviously giving credit to whoever comes in on the live,
That's
sort
cool.
of thing, as an idea.
That's
what I came up with the other day. Moving on from there is working out which songs go with each distribution channel. So whether that's physical along with merch, whether it's streaming or more subscription based and social media and marketing and things like that. What versions of those songs, whether they need to be instrumental versions for social media and marketing, what ones will be specifically for subscribing base. So I'm hoping to put together a Patreon-esque, whether it will be on Patreon or a different type of platform, I don't know, but it will be a subscription thing where fans can pay a couple of £1 a month or something like that, and they'll get all of this extra content on top of that as a revenue stream, essentially, as a way of supporting artists. I think that's a really good way of doing things.
Patreon's good. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people use it, to be fair, either.
I don't think it's used as much as it should be, you know, as a revenue stream. And I think a lot of the time it's like, I have to kind of do all this extra load of content. So it's kind of like a tier system that they use. It's just as I understand it. I haven't looked into it massively. So if anyone knows more than this, please pop that in the comments. I'd love to know. So you have like a tier system of, well, if you're at tier 1, you get this type of content. So you might get song downloads, you'll get videos, you know, lyric videos and stuff like that, stuff that isn't just out there in the general kind of sphere of the internet, kind of non-Spotify songs or something like that. And then the next tier up might be things like remixes, you know, of the songs that you've done before that you wouldn't get on the album necessarily, that sort of thing. Maybe small bits of merch that you would send out. So things like stickers and badges and like low ticket merch, that sort of thing. And then you'd have like top tier stuff, which obviously will have things like, you know, CDs and vinyls, any kind of merch, top tier sort of merch or high ticket merch, things like hoodies and t-shirts and that sort of thing, caps and all the rest of it. And they'll obviously the tiers run from, you know, like £3 a month, and then you could go up to like maybe, you know, £5 or £6 a month for your top tier sort of thing. Something I really need to dig into and research and look at. I'll do that through the SMART goals process. If it's a realistic thing to do, then I'll do it. That's one that's it's going to take a bit of time to work through.
Well, it's like you said, you know, the music industry changes so much, and what you're trying to do and trying to achieve now, you wouldn't necessarily probably had to worried about back in the heyday, because somebody else is doing it and the system worked differently. Now it's, well, yeah, you got so many obstacles in your way that you've got to navigate around to actually try and achieve what was achieved back then.
This is where the industry has shifted, is that business side of things that labels dealt with is now on the artist to do. Whether you're an independent artist or whether you want representation, people in the industry who represent you, they want to know that you have a business model. They need to know that you can make their money. Otherwise, why would they invest? It's a business to them. If you're an independent artist and you want to make money in this, then you have to run it like a business, and you have to be able to make money.
Well,
you have to, the end result might be slightly different, but your goals are exactly the same, depending on what you want. And this is what a lot of people can't, or a lot of artists can't seem to get their heads around, is that whether you want representation or whether you want to be an independent artist, the goals that you set are exactly the same. Because if you want to be an independent artist and you want to make money and you want to live off your music, you have to run it like a business. If you want representation, they want to know whether or not you can make money. So you have to run it like a business.
I agree. I mean, you know, it's the standard model, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. You know, the music industry is a capitalist thing. So if you don't like that, then go and be a plumber, because you make way more money. Plumbers are so expensive. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
My next thing is to sort photography. So it's finding a photographer that isn't my wife, even though she's a professional photographer.
Well, that should count, right?
It should, but she doesn't take pictures of people. And least of all, her husband.
How unfortunate.
How unfortunate. Oh, thank you. And then the last thing is obviously sorting artwork, so finding an artist and graphic design and that sort of thing, which obviously comes into a crossover with the photography and the website and that sort of stuff. But it's all these little things. So
Yeah,
overall for this year, I'm looking to release music and grow a fan base. I think these are the things that you need, especially if you're just starting out, to grow that fan base. Grow it as much as you can and then look to play live is my hypothesis, shall we say. For very much starting out, or very much if you've been playing in a band for a while and you look at yourself and you go, okay, what's my fan base? And if you don't have a fan base, then this should be your strategy, I think.
I think it's sadly overlooked, if I'm honest, because, as you said earlier on, people just go into it and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna play live, and you're like, yeah, it's not really about all that anymore, unfortunately. You know, because the times have changed, and venues are like, well, if you want paying as well, and there's nobody here and they don't know you, we're gonna bring in cover bands, and then we kick off about that. And you're like, well, people know the cover bands, so getting a fan base is hard.
That is the plan for my God Machina over the next year. If I can get a live show in as well, an open mic night or something like that, I will do that if I can. I'd like to thank all of our listeners for listening to this episode, sticking with us. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bells and do all of that stuff. Comment how much of a tosser Adam is, and
thanks, Pete. Appreciate that,
mate. The rest of it, and we will love you all forever. It was a cheap blow. I'm sorry, mate. It was a cheap blow. It was a low blow. It's normally pointed at both of us, not just you. Don't worry, mate.
Shocking, man.
Bad Life Podcast.